thank you. Welcome to a joint session of the House and Senate Education Committees on Friday, April 25th. We are thrilled to have you all here. We're going to briefly introduce ourselves as committee members, talk a little bit about the setup this afternoon, and then most importantly, hear from students. And then starting.
I'm happy to start. Representative Emily Long, I live in Newfane, Wyndham 5. I represent the towns of Newton, and Townsend.
Representative Ryan Hunter, I am from Manchester, Vermont, and I represent Manchester, Arlington, Sandgate, and Sutton.
Representative Casey Toof, I represent St. Albans Town and St. Albans City.
And Representative Chris Taylor, I represent Milton and a little part of Georgia.
Representative Peter Conlon, I'm from Cornwall, and I represent 5 small towns in Addison County.
We'll come back. We're going to MC here.
Okay. I'm Seth Roberts. I chair the Senate Education Committee and I represent the Bennington Senate District.
I'm Representative Leanne Harple. I'm from Glover and I represent Albany, Craftsbury, Glover, and Greensboro.
Good afternoon. I'm Senator David Weeks. I represent Rutland County and I live in Brock.
Good afternoon. I'm Nader Hashim. I'm Senator from Wyndham County and I live in Emerson.
I'm Representative Beth Quimby. I'm from Linden. I represent Sheffield, Wheelock, Sutton, Newark, and
Senator Ron Hinsdale from Chittenden County did the work on behalf of the Senate, making this all happen. And so I've asked her just to step in and help run the meeting today.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I'm Senator Keisha Ram Hinsdale. I represent Chittenden Southeast. And I just want to say, first of all, you all are taking this so seriously that it leaves an impression already on us. We really see you and appreciate that you've come here, for many of you, on your break. And we see how much your education means to you. And it sounds like we're going to hear the same thing from you. So that is deeply appreciated because I can't think of a more important topic in our democracy and in our society than the welfare and education of our young people. One thing I want to remember to say is that we do have a photographer from the local press. So I guess what we would say is, since this is a public meeting, it may show up. It's already on Zoom. And if you come up to testify particularly, your face may appear in public forums and spaces. If you do not want your child or you yourself do not want a photograph of you to be used, you can find him and mention that to him. Don't be nervous. Hopefully, if for some of you, this is your first time speaking to the legislature or coming to the State House even, it is not the last time. Many of us, became captivated and also realized it's not like we're that much smarter or more knowledgeable or interesting than any of you. So hopefully you'll run for office one day as well. And I'm sure Representative Brady will say this, but we're greatly appreciative to Zoe Epstein for helping to organize the whole thing. And we're both very grateful to our committee assistants for helping to make sure you all felt welcome in this space.
I'm Representative Erin Brady from Williston in the House Education Committee, and Senator Ram Hinsdale and I will try to run the show today. When I'm not here in the legislature, I'm a high school teacher at Colchester High School. So it is just wonderful to have so many students here and to have your voices and your input and your authentic engagement. It means so much to us and it's an important part of our process. We're going to, I have the list that we'll try to go in order. If we have to jump in and out of order a little bit, we will do that. We're going to try to ask that testimony be limited to 3 minutes. So even though we are considering phone-free schools legislation right now, Senator Ron Hinsdale and I are going to be bad role models and have our phones out for timers. And I'll just give you a gentle sort of 3-minute wave. And if you need to go a little over, that's fine. But we are going to try to keep it close to 3 minutes so that we have time to hear from everyone. When you come on up, just introduce yourself. Clearly, you're going to sit at that table here, so you're facing us as your audience here. Introduce yourself clearly and share your testimony, and it can be very brief as well. And again, we really appreciate it. If you have questions throughout, the committee assistants over here are fantastic. Will and Annie. Annie has gone above and beyond on a lot of the planning here today, so she can help with anything you might need. Feel free to come and go from the room, drink in here, that's fine. And we will go ahead and get started. And I believe our first witness this afternoon is on Zoom. And so we will toggle. Mostly we have folks who are here in person, but we appreciate that it's a big state and a lot of people are on break. So we really appreciate people being flexible and willing to engage multiple ways. So our first testimony is from Jacoby Soder from Bellows Free Academy, joining us from Zoom. So Jacoby, you can go ahead and introduce yourself and take it away.
Whoops. Thank you. I will say I'll be about 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Got it.
Greetings. My name is Jacoby Soder, and I am an 11th grade student at Bellows Free Academy in St. Albans, Vermont. As a student, I deeply value the strong sense of community within Vermont's public schools. Vermont is among the states with the highest per pupil spending in education, which reflects a core value held by Vermonters that public education is a top priority. What truly makes our schools special are the people, the students, the educators, the families, and the broader community. Vermont schools offer our students opportunities to meet challenges and grow into the world beyond the classroom. Many of our schools benefit from essential partnerships with community organizations, which provide internships, job shadows, substance use prevention programs, and other real-world learning experiences. These partnerships are a critical part of preparing students for life after high school. Future education policy must recognize and support the role of these community partners in helping students gain confidence and skills for the future. There is also a strong sense of pride and unity within our schools. Students and community members come together to celebrate and support one another at sporting events, concerts, drama performances, and awards ceremonies, to name a few. It's important that we do not separate students and community members, and that we recognize that we are one community and we succeed when we show up for one another, in both the traditional forms and hopefully the new reimagined ones. This value of shared community must be reflected in future education policy. One final and essential aspect of community is the authentic engagement of young people. Vermont is at a crossroads in how we approach education, and we have a unique opportunity to include young people, not just as tokenized participants, but as co-creators of the future of Vermont schools. Students must be seen as real agents of change. As a student school board member, I've seen firsthand the invaluable insight that young people bring to shaping school policy. Because we are directly impacted by these decisions, our perspectives are not only relevant, they're essential. When students co-design policies alongside district leaders, implementation becomes more effective and meaningful. That's why I strongly urge future education policy to require all Vermont school boards to go beyond tokenized engagement of young people and include students as valued and voting members. My vision for Vermont's education system and for public education more broadly is this. Every student has at least one trusted adult in the building they can speak to authentically. Social emotional learning and restorative practices are not treated as extras, but are fully integrated into curricula. Students feel physically and emotionally safe in their school environment. Universal meals are available to all students so they can fully participate in learning. Students have real ongoing opportunities to share their voices with principals, administrators, and district leaders. And those leaders actively make decisions with student perspectives at the top of mind, which means district leadership is visible and accessible to students, not distant figures behind office doors. Lastly, all students are taught a civically responsive education, and that students are both encouraged and inspired to register to vote and engage meaningfully with their school communities and communities outside of school. This vision for Vermont doesn't have to remain a dream. It can be our reality. We are at a pivotal moment, and by meaningfully engaging us, students, in shaping the future of education, we can build a system that reflects our values and prepares all of us for life beyond high school. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today, and I appreciate your attention.
Thank you so much. Thanks for being ready and going first. All right. Our next witness, and if you're here with someone and a couple of you are going to testify and you want to come and sit together, that is perfectly fine. We have Lila from Woodstock Union High School, and then on deck would be Logan from Woodstock Union High School. Thank you for coming. Again, if you can just introduce yourself clearly for the record, and then we look forward to your testimony.
Hi, I'm Lila Zeitlin. I'm a sophomore at Woodstock Union High School, co-president of the Social Action Club, and a student advisor to both the Mountain View Supervisory Union School Board and Policy Committee. I'm here in opposition to Governor Phil Scott's school consolidation plan. The plan is financially motivated to excess. Relieving the tax burdens of working families is a necessity. However, I believe this agenda overlooks not only the beauty of Vermont schools, but the possibility of extreme financial repercussions going forward. Repercussions that would wholly negate any short-term benefits. Costs should be funded by increasing property taxes for out-of-staters with second homes in Vermont, not by reducing opportunities for the next generation. I love Vermont schools. The sense of community has made me who I am. I moved to Woodstock from California in 5th grade. Knowing every face was a radical change. Being allowed to have recess outside in the rain was a radical change. I didn't have to explain my Tourette syndrome to what felt like a million different people, because in Vermont, we have our people, and they know us as ourselves. At Woodstock, I meet monthly with Sherry Sousa, our superintendent, to discuss board meetings. At Woodstock, so many students came to speak in protest of a budget proposal cutting unified arts. The budget proposal was changed, preserving many teachers' positions as well as art and language programs. The environment has generated students empowered to create the change they envision. My intent here is not to portray local control as simply charmingly sweet. Local control and local school boards deliver power to those with a vested interest in student success, more specifically, the success of their children. I believe this particular school consolidation plan will harm more than it could help. The money that would be saved would be largely from cutting teacher positions. These teacher shortages and large class sizes disproportionately impact low-income families. Additionally, the plan will likely result in the closure of several small schools. Property values are far higher in rural communities with schools. Closure would cause an economic spiral. Many students who are frequently financially disadvantaged are already spending upwards of 3 hours per day on the bus, 3 hours of what is often lost sleep and lost time. These bus rides have profound implications, increasing rates of chronic absenteeism and lowering test scores. This issue should be addressed, not exacerbated. Struggling students will cost more money in the long run than keeping small schools open. I implore you to make the decision that will ultimately save Vermonters money, the kind decision, the decision that's best for the collective Green Mountain soul. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And next is Logan from Woodstock Union High School.
Good afternoon, senators and representatives. My name is Louis Martez, and I am here on behalf of Vermont Students Against Racism Network, or VESARN, and Woodstock Social Action Club. I come here before you to implore you to pass legislation to cement protections for DEI programs in schools. Within Vermont, one of the most, if not the most, progressive states in America, the possibility of removing diversity, equity, and inclusion in our schools and taking years off a powerful movement. If anything, we should increase our progress towards educating the youth about how diversity amplifies our society. I moved to Vermont from California, where diversity is an active presence. Coming to Vermont, I've noticed an unfortunate lack of diversity. While many students are very accepting of marginalized communities, many do not know how to react to diversity. In my own personal experience, I have witnessed a student scream the R word repeatedly, and other students shout back the same slur. The class was complacent and this with the behavior, and one student even commented that this is the culture of our community. How is this considered acceptable? Why do we need to protect minority rights? We need to reteach diversity to ensure that people are not ignorant. I believe that most people become more inclusive with the right tools. I am the founder and co-president of Social Action Club at Woodstock Union High School. One of the strategies for fighting prejudice is not pointing fingers. I work to inspire my peers to do the right thing by teaching them not to create an us versus them. It is difficult, but as a state, every student should learn it is not okay to create prejudice towards differences. We should not look the other way and let prejudice occur in our schools. Every day we're bombarded with slander, bias, racism, ableism. We live in the state of Vermont. We have always stuck to our ideals. We are the first state to ban slavery, the first state to create civil unions. We are the front runners in social progress. We have always been on the right side of history. We must not let the racist policies of the current president affect our students. We will never kneel to authoritarianism. We do not negotiate with people who inspire fear in the masses. We must not sacrifice the education of our youth. I appreciate your time and support, and I plead with you to hold fast with DEI support in schools by voting in favor of DEI initiatives, regardless of the Trump administration's pressure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next is Zoe from Champlain Valley Union High School.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me. Like Rep. Brady just said, my name is Zoe Epstein. I'm an 11th grader at Champlain Valley Union High School. And this is my third year as a student rep on the CVSD school board. Over the past year, I've been working to amplify student voice in education. My latest initiative has been building a statewide network of student board reps. I'm grateful for the opportunities I've had in Champlain Valley School District, from classes aligned with my future goals to clubs and sports that I love. With that, I'm excited to share my ideas with you today. Students are at the heart of education, yet their voices are often left out of the decisions that shape their learning. I believe that students deserve a seat at the table where policies, curriculum, and school experiences are designed with them, not just for them. By fostering collaboration between students, educators, administrators, and decision makers, we can create an education system that is more inclusive, effective, and empowering for all. With that, I'm going to read you Section 1, Part 6, Page 2, under Findings and Intent Plan in the H.454 passed out of the House. Vermonters deserve an exceptional education system that is stable and predictable, where a student's home address does not dictate the quality of education they receive. School district size and boundaries, school size and class size are all influential factors in shaping the quality of instruction and overall student outcomes. The effectiveness of our schools depends on teacher quality, resource availability, and the unique strengths of local communities. Change in our educational system is needed. Systems are made of people, so change must come carefully and thoughtfully, with meaningful engagements by all Vermonters. The intent behind this section of H.454 rightly recognizes that a student's zip code should not determine the quality of their education. It acknowledges the importance of stable systems, equitable access, and thoughtful reform. But if we are truly committed to educational equity, we must also confront the contradiction of expanding school choice policies that pull resources and support equal opportunity while promoting systems that deepen disparities. Public education has long been a cornerstone of our democracy, built to serve every child regardless of background. If it has endured generations of public good, why should we turn away from it now? Real change means strengthening the public education system for all students, not creating alternatives that only serve a few. Yes, systems are made of people, as stated in the excerpt above, but students are at the heart of this system. We are the ones sitting in classrooms, navigating the curriculum, and living the direct consequences and benefits of every policy decision. Yet time and time again, we are left out of the rooms where those decisions are made. Right now, you have the opportunity to challenge the status quo, to break the cycle of exclusion, and show that student voices are not just welcome, but essential. Including us in the decision-making process would not only strengthen the outcomes of this legislation, but it would signal a powerful shift towards a more inclusive and forward-thinking educational system. When I first read the governor's proposal in H.454, I was shocked by the absence of student input. Despite the sweeping changes being proposed, it was a stark reminder of how often youth perspectives are treated as an afterthought rather than an asset. If we want meaningful change, it must be driven by those that understand the daily realities of our schools. There are places within this process where there's ample opportunity to increase student voice. I urge you to formally add a student member to the Commission on the Future of Public Education. Additionally, I strongly urge you to reconsider the removal of student representatives from school boards following district consolidation. Student input is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Without it, we risk building a system that fails to reflect the lived experiences, needs, and ideas of those that exist to serve. I recently had a conversation with Bob Laird, a retired Vermont educator and co-director for teaching, learning, and research at the Vermont Math Initiative. We discussed the importance of professional development and its direct reflection on students. While H.454 rightly names teacher quality as a key factor in school effectiveness, there's a notable absence of provisions that invest in ongoing professional development or support for educators. If we are going to prioritize teacher quality in theory, we must also back the priority that with resources in practice. And an investment in teachers is an investment in student success, and reform efforts that overlook that connection risk falling short of their goals. If we make every teacher the best they can be and provide them with opportunities to learn and to grow, we are in turn benefiting all students. In conclusion, the future of Vermont's education system depends on the meaningful and inclusive involvement of all its stakeholders, especially that of students. If we are truly committed to ensuring that every student receives a high-quality education, we must challenge outdated systems, confront contradictions in policy, and make thoughtful investments in our educators. By fostering collaboration between students, teachers, administrators, and policymakers, we can create an education system that reflects the needs, aspirations, and lived experiences of those it serves. Strengthening the public education system, supporting teacher development, and ensuring student voice at the decision-making table are essential components of achieving real, lasting change. It's time to move beyond performative measures and embrace a future where all voices, especially those of students, are heard and valued in shaping the education we all deserve. On a final note, I urge you all to reflect on and discuss what the true meaning of education is, who it serves, and why it exists. Please carry that with you in all the decisions that you make moving forward. You have the opportunity to improve all opportunities for Vermont students. And please make every choice moving forward with us in mind.
Thank you very much. And next we have Kibo from Champlain Valley Union High School, and on deck, Chloe from Champlain Valley Union High School. Welcome.
Hello. I'm Hibo Tahir from Champlain Valley High School Union, and my testimony today is going to be on DEI programs. In my personal experience, I think diversity, equity, and inclusion are essential for the success of the future of education systems. DEI initiatives ensures that every student, regardless of their background, has access to resources that they need. With DEI, it's important to create an environment where all identities and perspectives are included and valued. DEI also helps support unrepresented minorities with school. For example, with my personal experience with being the only hijabi and person of color in my school, in middle school, with being the only hijabi person of color, with there being no DEI programs, I found it hard to engage within school and with other students as well. But with that kind of changed while transferring to CVU and joining the Racial Alliance Committee. While joining the Racial Alliance Committee at CVU, with DEI programs, advocating about more DEI programs, it helped promote engagement and participation in public school. And I think it helped promote participation in public education within schools. And my request to you all today is to help kids like me grow our voices by advocating in places us kids can't. All I'm asking for you guys to be today is to be our voices within legislation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Chloe from Champlain Valley Union High School, and Nicole, our last one from Champlain Valley Union High School on deck. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Chloe Gill. I'm a junior at CVU, and I'm on CVU's school board as a student rep. What I value the most about my current educational experience about Vermont is the strong sense of community and close relationships I have with both my teachers and my classmates. Due to our small school sizes, every student is truly seen, supported, and teachers have time to get to know us as individuals. This creates an environment where I feel comfortable asking questions, expressing my opinion, and taking risks while learning. I also appreciate the variety of opportunities available from extracurricular activities to unique courses that explore my interests. The emphasis on equity and inclusion ensures that everyone has a chance to participate and succeed regardless of their background or where in Vermont they live. My biggest hope for the future of education in Vermont is that we build on these strengths while addressing the challenges of a changing world. I hope that all students, no matter their town or family income, has access to high-quality teachers, modern resources, and a wide range of academic and extracurricular options. I would like to see more support for mental health and well-being, as well as increased opportunities for hands-on learning, internships, and real-world problem solving. It's important to me that Vermont maintains its commitment to equity and local involvement, but also finds ways to innovate and prepare students for the future, whether they choose college, trades, or other paths. Ultimately, I hope Vermont's education system continues to empower every student to reach their full potential. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Nicole from Champlain Valley Union High School, and on deck, Morgan from the Longcast School. Welcome.
My name is Nicole Ritchie Asomwe. I'm a junior at Champlain Valley High School Union High School. I'm here on behalf of the Vermont Student Anti-Racial Nation. So when I first joined high school, I never really knew what DEI was because in my middle school experience, I didn't really like talk to like upper people in the school. But I shortly learned after my experience in freshman year, I had to submit an HBB form, and my DEI coordinators definitely made me feel supported and that like something was going to happen after. It wasn't just going to go nowhere, even though other teachers weren't really supportive of it. Their showing up for me didn't end just in my freshman year. They also showed up for me in my sophomore year. They would come to my classes to talk about the kids' microaggressions, and it wasn't something awkward. They'd be very serious about it, and they would definitely show up for me. I knew anytime I could go to their offices and there were people who would understand me and show up for me. Although I haven't had the best time in my high school experience, I'll always remember the teachers that supported me and my DEI coordinators because they cared. DEI in education means creating an environment where all students, regardless of background, feel valued, supported, and empowered to success. Effective DEI initiatives help break down systemic barriers like racism and ensure fair access to resources and help students feel supported. Another thing that also helped me during my experience in high school would be my affinity space. Going to high school filled with microaggressions, racism, and some ignorant people, it was tough going from class to class, trying to stay sane, hearing all of these microaggressions. But one thing I always looked forward to was our BIPOC affinity space, students encouraging equity, diversity, and success seeds. Even sometimes we would just sit and have small conversations, but it still felt like coming home. Our teacher was so supportive and lovely, and we all knew we had each other. We always stood up for each other with challenges at school, and we would always do fun things to get our minds off what we all struggled with in the school. Affinity groups provide a safe space and supportive environment for students who share similar identities or experiences. Another thing I wanted to talk about is student support systems. These are important because they help students with things like schoolwork, mental health, and other things that they might face in schools. Examples would be like counseling and programs. This makes it easier for students to do well in school and feel safe. I thank all of you for listening to my story and all the work you do to support students like me. But my one request would be is that you continue to support and fund DEI programs, affinity spaces, and student support systems in our schools. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Morgan from the Long Trail School, and on deck, Naomi from the Long Trail School.
I'm also going to be a bad role model.
Saving trees.
Yeah. Good afternoon. My name is Morgan Cable, and I'm a senior at Long Trail School, which is an independent school in Dorset, Vermont. I started at LTS in 9th grade, entirely unprepared for what the next 4 years of my life would bring. Culture shock was definitely my predominant foe. I grew up attending public school in Florida, so you can imagine the surprise I felt coming into a school environment that was focused on creating identity and community. Rather than the stay the path mindset I had grown up with in Florida, Long Trail immediately offered up an abundance of choices. In extracurriculars, everyone, no matter skill level or experience, is encouraged to try something new. Soccer stars try out for the fall musical, and performers like myself can attempt sports without the sense of fear or uncomfortability that was so familiar to me in Florida. I have grown to immensely value choice and education. However, the spirit and community, so apparent the moment you walk through the doors of LTS, are what truly blew me away. Smaller class sizes means that no student ever gets lost in the crowd of 20. These smaller classes have been vitally important to me in forming lasting relationships with my peers as well as my educators. Every teacher knows every student's name, and class discussions are tailored to students' interests in both the material, to be relevant to both material and student interests. And the International Baccalaureate Program, or IB, this curriculum links every subject together through interdisciplinary practices. Attending an institution with all of the choice and benefit that LTS offers and receiving an education like the one that I have would have been entirely out of my family's financial ability without school choice. Now, as my own brother starts high school at Long Trail with the same opportunities before him, I hope that the system that has given myself and my peers so much can remain protected, appreciated, and understood as one of Southern Vermont's strongest features. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Naomi, and I'm also a senior at the Long Trail School. Here's my experience with school choice. As an 8th grader, I lived in a district that did not provide school choice and attended a middle school that was designated for my residential area. My family decided to move just before my freshman year, and for my parents, the reasoning was first and foremost to give my brother power over his educational life, to boost his confidence and self-esteem, both academically and socially emotionally. While I am grateful for my middle school that supplied me with the tools that I needed to thrive in secondary school, I believe that having the ability to choose an institution opens doors to more specific opportunities and resources that align with individual interests and goals. We moved to Dorset because of school choice for my brother. School choice wasn't just about academic preferences, but it was crucial for my siblings to have a chance at fulfilling high school successfully. While my sibling would attend a different school than me, Long Trail stood out to my parents because its programs seemed to align perfectly with me and my identity as a scholar. They recognized my passion for the arts and my desire for academic challenges. They believed the rigor of the IB program would be something I would truly appreciate and thrive in. And here I am today, a high school senior who very much benefited from having had incidental school choice. So far, I've learned so much about myself, refined my academic and extracurricular preferences, and developed my decision-making skills. By having the liberty and encouragement from faculty members at Long Trail to take a step of courage into our shoes as student leaders, I have developed the confidence to not only involve myself in clubs, theater, and sports, but to really question the role of future leaders in the context of today's world and the impact that thoughtfulness can have. Long Trail has empowered me to take risks while cementing my belief in the power of education to make a difference in a young person's life. I'm confidently attending Middlebury College in the fall, feeling well-equipped and eager to make a meaningful difference in the world. This college spoke to me majorly due to its sense of close-knit community, thoughtful engagement, and strong teacher connections, much like my experience at Long Trail with its small class sizes. In addition to a brother, I have a younger sister. I hope that in the future, my sister will have the opportunity to choose her educational path, recognizing how central one's learning space is to their empowerment and personal growth. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Gavin from the Sharon Academy, and then on deck, Evan from the Sharon Academy, who will be joining us on Zoom.
And thank you for having me. My name is Gavin Keep, and I live in Sharon and attend Sharon Academy, where I am in 8th grade. When I heard you were asking for students to share their ideas about school, I was excited to come speak to you. The thing I value most about my current education is the support I receive from my teachers and my classmates. My school was able to achieve this because of how small it is as a whole, and also because each class is small. For example, my Algebra 1 class has 11 students in it, and we can go to the teacher for help when we need support. Both a small community of students and small class sizes has helped me get the support I need to succeed. I was diagnosed at 3 years old with ADHD and moved from Georgia to Sharon, Vermont when I was 7. When any school I have attended has worked best for me, it has been because the teachers know who I am as an individual and can support the variety of ways that I learn. Some of those ways are different from my friends, and I do better at a school when teachers can see each of us and treat each of us in a unique way. I bet that many of those teachers have also gotten all sorts of training in how to help lots of different kids, but you only know what tool to use with a kid if you can really know that kid. So I want all the schools in Vermont to be places where kids are known really well by their teachers. At my current school, my current school, the Sharon Academy, this is exactly what I get. My teachers know what I need to learn best and help me to do the best that I can. While some in this country are worried that the government might get rid of 504 plans, one thing that makes me feel less stressed is knowing that I go to a school where, regardless of what the national rules might be, they will know who I am and help me to learn the ways I need to. My biggest hope for the future of education in Vermont is that all kids will be able to attend schools where teachers can know them really well and where those teachers can then know which tools to use to help those kids learn the best. Not all methods of teaching work for every student, and being at a small school has really made a difference for me.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Evan from the Sharon Academy joining us on Zoom, and then on deck is Eddie from Montpelier High School.
Hi, I'm Evan Hare, and I'm a junior at Sharon Academy in Sharon, Vermont. I really value the promotion of authenticity and individuality at Sharon Academy. The environment not only of academic learning, but social and emotional learning creates individuals who are confident enough in themselves to be creative and independent thinkers. An independent and flexible mind is something needed not only in school, but in the real world as well. Education should foster not only mental growth, but a sense of self that will allow one to prosper and hold their own in any situation. I feel extremely lucky for my education, and I hope that the future, no matter what it will bring, will value students as individuals, individual minds and individual learners. Having a strong sense of self leads to a more authentic life. When we combine academic excellence with students' well-being, education can perform its true function to unlock students to their immense potential in the world. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. We have Eddie from Montpelier High School, and on deck is Ari from U32 High School.
I might talk like a little bit fast. I have like 4 paragraphs. I'm going to shorten it down.
Nope, yep.
Take your time.
Take your time. This is fine.
Hello, my name is Eddie McGrath, and I'm a junior at Montpelier High School. I've been in the Montpelier school system for 9 years, and I'm thankful for all the opportunities that MHS offers and the freedom and voice that students have. I know not all schools have this freedom, and I feel like other schools should take a leaf out of MHS's book. I currently value all of my education, but something I value the most is the diverse range of teaching I receive, from learning about books many would deem inappropriate for teens to talking about past social justice movements like the Queer Liberation Movement, Black Panther, and different workers' rights movements. I know that a diverse curriculum lets students grow as people, and I'm so glad that Montpelier High School allows for that diverse curriculum. However, while I am glad that my school currently values diversity and inclusivity, not just in their schoolwork, but in the community, I'm terrified for my peers, my friends, and my education. I'm scared for my future and the future of the younger students whose learning has already been stunted by the pandemic. If our schools shut down DEI, I'm scared what this will mean for everybody. DEI doesn't just include race, it includes gender equity, sexuality equity, and disability equity. If DEI is shut down, that means there wouldn't be sanitary products in the bathroom for people with periods. Children with disabilities would have a harder time navigating schools. There could be even more race-based discrimination, gender discrimination, and the discrimination against trans students. As a queer disabled person, I beg of you all to fight back against the executive order to push DEI out of schools. I also would like to discuss mobile phone usage in schools, as you mentioned before. There are strong arguments for strict phone bans, citing concerns about mental health, addiction, and cheating. Phones can be addictive and linked to mental health problems in teens, and some misuse them for dishonest purposes. However, as a student, I'd like to highlight a less discussed perspective, a perspective I am sure many don't touch on because it's very hard to talk about. The dangers of not having a mobile phone in today's age. I fear for safety in the event of a school shooting, a concern many share. If such event arises, being able to document the situation or contact loved ones is important. While such events are rare in Vermont, the K-12 shooting database recorded 332 incidents in 2024 alone, which is alarming and needs to be addressed. Additionally, in medical emergencies, having a mobile phone is crucial for quick access to help, as using a landline can be slow and may leave someone alone in a crisis without support. The last thing I would like to talk about is a little bit hard for me to talk about, which is increased support for homeless teenagers in Vermont. This is crucial. This support should include not only students, but also those who have left school to work for survival and those balancing jobs with with their education. After the Montpelier flood, my family was homeless for 4 months, and for 4 months, I went to Brattleboro High School and was in the motel program. I struggled to manage work and school while living in a subpar motel with only a microwave and a toaster oven to cook my food in. The school offered minimal help, and while I appreciate the laundry cards, I needed more substantial support. A simple solution like a no questions asked free dinner program for students to take home would greatly ease their burdens, and any initiative to lighten their load would help. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for very, very thoughtful, important testimony. Thank you. Next, we have Ari from U32 and on deck, Punkti from Essex High School.
Afternoon. My name is Ari Chapin, and I'm a senior at U32 High School in East Montpelier. It is harder as a student to create a high school plan that fits your interests. These classes are slowly disappearing because there aren't enough students taking them. As my brother enters high school, AP Chemistry is one of the classes that the administration is trimming down because of low demand. AP Chemistry is being switched to every other year, and next year's seniors who might have planned to take it will not have this opportunity. In addition, while I have been able to take the classes I've wanted, there are very real possibilities that these classes won't run in the future because there won't be enough students to take them. In part, this is due to early college, pulling many of my challenge-driven peers away from the traditional high school track and the higher level classes at U32 that I value. I'm one of the 3 students taking AP Physics 2, one of the 4 students taking AP Computer Science, and one of 7 students taking AP Chemistry. In previous years, these classes have been filled with seniors and other students as well. But now 60% of high school, or around 60% of high school seniors at U32 are not in school every day. These students are taking non-traditional pathways such as going to the Career Center as well as early college at Norwich and CCV. I hope that as my brother and his friends move through high school, that there are classes and peers that they need to support their growth as students and gain the knowledge in order to move forward with the next phases of their life. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next is Punkti from Essex High School, and on deck is Madeline on Zoom from Hazen Union. Yep, I see you up there. All right. Folks are well organized and ready. This is easy.
And full disclosure, Punkti is my intern.
Afternoon. My name is Punkti Desai. I live in Essex Junction and I am an 11th grader at Essex High School. I am here today because I believe having student voices present when discussing the pressing issues around education is important and necessary to make lasting and effective change in Vermont education. For the past year, I have been a student board representative on the Essex Westford School District Board. Through this position, as well as through my experience as a student, I became increasingly aware of the true impact, both positive and negative, that educational policy can have on students and communities as a whole. Yeah, an example of this impact in my personal life can be seen when EWSD put our equity policy in place. The equity policy marked the first steps to ensuring that students were given equal opportunity, could seek diverse perspectives in their education, and were protected from discrimination and further marginalization. These attributes of the policy helped me feel safe and welcome in my school community as a person of color, something that was not always present before the policy was written. I share this because I believe that the adoption of diversity, equity, and inclusion practices are not unique to my school district, and that over the past few years, our state has been a pioneer in exemplary policy that puts students' needs first in this area. The governor's proposal, and by extension, Bill H.454, threaten to erase the hard work that individual school districts have done across the state. The outcomes of incredibly rushed school consolidation will undermine the highly specific DEI models that districts have already fit to their community's needs. It will lead to a period where the construction of new and effective equity policy will be rushed and not function beneficially. When looking at how these types of policies are under attack nationally, it is of the utmost importance that Vermont honor DEI in education and that impactful and true equity work is valued. This work takes a lot of time, as all of us saw when these discussions were first brought to the forefront of Vermont public schools. This bill will cause meaningful equity work to become extremely difficult, especially in the timeframe allotted for such a large-scale transition. I am sure that everyone in this room understands that legislative education reform needs to be accomplished. However, there is a way to change education funding and organization for the better without compromising the connections between small schools and their communities. At my high school, one of the largest in Vermont, the school is intertwined with the community. From athletics to the arts, my school has fostered an incredible web of local connections. One of the reasons I decided to become a student representative on the board was because I held so much pride in how different aspects of my school district interacted with my day-to-day interactions. These connections are some of the most important aspects of Vermont public schools. Students are given a wide range of opportunities to become active participants in their community, and it shows. By consolidating school districts with such little planning, this thread of connectivity can be damaged, and in the cases of many rural schools, can be completely severed. There is a way we can all come together to try and fix Vermont's educational issues without destroying an incredibly unique element of the student experience. I would like to thank you all for the opportunity to share my insights on the future of education in Vermont. I ask all the legislators here today to consider the experiences of students when deciding on their support of Bill H.454. For many, including myself, this bill is a rush step forward that will lead to more problems in the long term. I would implore you all to brainstorm more thought-out solutions that put student experience at the forefront when trying to solve the complex puzzle that is Vermont education. I thank you all for the time to speak today on the future of education in Vermont.
Thank you very much. All right, next we have Madeline joining us on Zoom from Hazen Union High School, and then on deck is Willow from Brattleboro Union High School.
Hello, I'm Madeline Crank and I go to Hazen Union. Something I value in middle school is that we can choose our classes and what we learned. We're not just forced to all take the same exact classes. Classes like band, music, and foreign languages let us pick what we're interested in. And what makes school way more fun and meaningful for me, having options makes my whole school experience better. When I think about the future, I hope I can keep learning about all the good and bad things that have happened in the world, especially in history. If we only learn the good stuff, we might end up repeating bad things without even knowing it. I want to be the kind of adult who makes good choices for myself and my community, and I know that means understanding how the past shaped the world we live in now. I want to learn from both the smart decisions and the mistakes people made before us, so I can think it through, make it better choices, and try not to hurt others by accident. I also think about things like class size and how it affects how we learn. Even in a small class with just 14 kids, it can be hard for everyone to stay focused sometimes. If there are 25 or more kids, it would be even harder for the teachers to give everyone attention. I've heard people say there should be a rule about class sizes, but that might hurt small schools like Woodbury. Some students do better in smaller schools, and if those schools had to close, it would be really hard on the families and the kids who live there. Not everyone learns the same way, and I think that should be part of how we make decisions about school. Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking time to join us. Next, we have Willow from Brattleboro Union High School. Thank you for making the trip. And then on deck is Max from Lake Region Union High School.
Hello, members of the Senate Education Committee. My name is Willow Sharma, and I'm a student from Guilford, Vermont, currently studying at Brattleboro Union High School. I appreciate this opportunity to speak about Vermont's future educational plan. I'm here to highlight my experiences through the education system and how we and many other students benefit from our smaller schools. The Vermont educational system is special for its focus on community engagement through its small, tightly knit schools. At Guilford Central Elementary School, I received tremendous personal attention and care with an average class size of 15. This school is the heart of our small community. When the pandemic hit, our community, both those with children in the school and those without, came together to build outdoor classrooms for our students. This connection between the school and town is incredibly special and something that is really unique to Vermont. Today, I am pleased to be able to have access to all the opportunities offered through Brattleboro Union High School. In fact, it's the reason I came to speak today, because it's the community that I really care about. Going from a small, nurturing community at Guilford Central School to a larger district high school gave me the confidence to take advantage of all the opportunities the larger school had to offer. At Brattleboro, I have the opportunity to work in classes as small as 7 students and as large as 22, both giving a diversity of experiences. Looking forward, I want to see the state make it their priority to protect the opportunities offered by smaller community schools. These give students a strong base to start their educational pathway. I know that raising enough funds for small schools is incredibly difficult, and consolidation may ease the burden on taxpayers. I ask you to work on this bill with the idea in mind that small schools mean so much for our Vermont communities and providing an enriching education to our students. I want the future generation of Vermont students to have the opportunities for a caring and inclusive education that will allow them to engage meaningfully in their local and larger communities. Thank you very much for your time and consideration.
Thank you so much for coming. Next, we have Max from Lake Region Union High School joining us on Zoom, and on deck we have Ada from Craftsbury Academy also joining us on Zoom. Welcome.
Hello, thank you for hearing from me. My name's Max. I'm a junior at Lake Region Union High School. I just wanted to draw your attention to the drastic differences in pupil spending that are in the state, and how that in my district, which is the poorest district in the state, and yet still manages to get test scores above the median, we are spending $13,495 per the long-term weighted average daily membership per student. And then if you contrast that to districts such as Woodstock, which is spending $17,000 per student, Sharon Academy, which has a tuition for all students of $22,000, Montpelier Roxbury, $14,796, CVU, $15,530, Craftsbury, $15,780. With the bill that you all just passed, that was passed through the House, the raised tuition would be $15,000. If we are to also then cut teachers so that we can raise our class sizes, what are we supposed to do with that extra money? Are we just going to give it to more admin costs? Because that seems like the only place that we're gonna be able to put it. We already have ridiculous admin assessments. If we got rid of that, we could actually reduce our budget. Why is every other district, why are we trying to make our district, which is doing well with the poorest students, the students who have to travel the farthest distance to get to school, the students who have the highest rate of needing free lunch, changing our district, which has figured it out, to look more like these other districts that are not the rural districts. Why are we what are we gonna do with this extra money? Why not make other schools have the same model as us? I'd like to understand how this is gonna actually be worth it if we are raising our budget by $2,000 per student. And then reducing staff, which is the biggest driver of budgets aside from healthcare, which is not regulated nearly enough, as the Green Mountain Care Board has no oversight, and then is able to just work with the insurance companies to raise the rates that are charged for health insurance for the entire state employees. So we are just allowing this independent institution to work with insurance companies, who are the ones getting the money, not our hospitals, to then raise the budgets that are failing, raise the budgets that are with this ridiculous per pupil spending compared to ours. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us. Next, we have Ada from Craftsbury Academy joining us on Zoom. Ada, are you there?
Yes.
Great.
Okay. Hello. Thank you for taking the time to listen to Vermont students' voices today. My name is Ada Allen, and I am a freshman at Craftsbury Academy, a public K-12 school in rural Orleans County. I have been a student at Craftsbury since 2nd grade. I wanted to share a portrait of life at a small school. As you make decisions about our state's schools, I hope you remember voices like mine. Small size does not mean small opportunities. As a student at Craftsbury, I've been able to expand my learning opportunities and intellectual growth. For example, I love language and writing and was supported to add upper-level English electives to my course load this year. In addition to the traditional freshman English, I take both mythology and wartime literature classes. My teachers have offered a lot of one-on-one support to find what my passions are and to work through stumbling blocks and challenges. As I plan for next year, I will add 2 AP classes to my course load. For my junior and senior years, I will have 7 more AP classes to choose from at Craftsbury. Craftsbury Academy has allowed me to mentor others and connect with many ages. Because our school is linked to the middle and elementary school, we can learn and grow from all ages. I participate in the Dream Mentorship Program where I'm guiding elementary students. Also, through my classes and extracurricular activities, I have gotten to know students in all high school classes. The lines aren't rigid between classes, and we grow together. A critique of small schools is that they are too small to offer extracurriculars or social opportunities. My experience rebuts this. Our school collaborates to provide creative opportunities. I currently play on a combined softball team and a combined soccer team. In the winter, our Nordic ski team is hosted at the Craftsbury Outdoor Center, and I ski with students from across the state. I also interact with my community. I volunteer at the Historical Society. I'm a member on our town's Freedom and Unity Task Force. Because our high school is embedded in our community, education can grow from wide and deep roots. I would like to share my hopes. I hope Vermont keeps and supports our community schools and doesn't look for a one-size-fits-all model. We can connect more and grow with each other in creative community-based ways. We can expand our viewpoint on what schools can do. It doesn't take money, but just looking out for new opportunities and connections. Sharing my fears. I fear that legislators do not understand small schools and all they offer, that student and community voices are not being heard, that opportunities come in different sizes and shapes and not from a standardized package. My experience at Craftsbury has shown me that a small school can be opportunity rich, and I hope that I have shown you some of that today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Cosmos from Craftsbury Academy, and on deck, Raz from Craftsbury Academy. I apologize if I am not pronouncing that correctly.
Good evening. Give me a second here. My name is Cosmos, and I'm a 10th grader at Craftsbury Academy. Craftsbury provide me with many opportunities despite small size, such as the 2 AP classes I'm currently taking. Some higher level classes at Craftsbury can have less than 5 students, but that Craftsbury is still able to create many opportunities for students to explore and learn the subjects that are right for them. The quality of the smaller classes is not degraded at all by their size, and I find myself learning much more in my smaller classes than I do in larger groups of students. Even though the classes are small, each student is able to take the classes they need to take, as well as what they want to. In addition to the classes that we can take at Craftsbury, we also have the opportunity to go to the Green Mountain Technology Career Center. And that's what I'll be doing next year. I'll be in the creative media program. And because of that, the classes that Craftsbury can offer, I'll still be on track to get all my credits. But without those classes, even though they can be small at higher levels, they still need to be offered so that students like me who want to take an alternate route for our education can still have all our credits needed to graduate. Some people may see smaller schools like Craftsbury as not providing enough resources for students to be fully educated. However, I see them as a strength in our community, and I don't see any issue at all in how educated we're able to be.
Thank you very much. Next, is it Raz? And on deck is Orion from Craftsbury Academy. Also might have gotten that name wrong, so correct me, please.
Hi, I'm Raz Milay. I'm a sophomore at Craftsbury Academy. I do believe that the H.454 proposition is unnecessary. As the old saying goes, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. Look at my class of 7. All of us are very successful despite going to a small school. For instance, I'm the first Vermonter to win the International Science School Award. Cosmos, who you met earlier, is going to the sophomore Hobie Leadership Program. And Riley Gerhardt is enrolled in the marine ecology class and is being sent to Bermuda to do some research there. Clearly, if you try hard enough, there are still some opportunities for those in small schools. Not to mention that it builds relationships. Me and my class are like family. Not a month and a half ago, a lot of us went down to Boston as a group to take classes at MIT for the Splash program. Clearly, what we're doing here is working. Besides, I don't think anybody wants to get rid of the history that comes with Craftsbury or any other academy. Since Craftsbury Academy is 3 years away from their 200th graduating class. As for the proposition about not allowing class sizes if there aren't enough students to fulfill them, I fundamentally disagree with that, especially when it comes to small schools like Craftsbury. That would be an issue for a lot of people. For instance, I'm going to be the only person next year taking AP Calc in my year, and I wouldn't be able to do that in that scenario. Those are the reasons that I and many others oppose this proposition. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Orion, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly again, and on deck is Iris from Craftsbury Academy, followed by Rue from Craftsbury.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Orion Hart, and I'm a freshman at Craftsbury Academy. Craftsbury Academy provides me with a tight-knit community and personalized learning, as well as great opportunities within the sports that I love, such as skiing and biking. Through these many aspects, Craftsbury gives me a great path to move forward with my goals, and I think it could be detrimental to our smaller communities if we took this away. Craftsbury Academy provides students with regular trips to local areas and community hotspots, giving them a fun and educational experience outside the classroom. Craftsbury's smaller community also gives each and every student a chance to be seen. Each person is recognized within the community as a vital part of a larger machine, giving everyone a space and voice in the learning experience. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Iris from Craftsbury Academy, and then Rue is on deck.
My name is Iris. I live in Craftsbury and I'm in 7th grade. I think Craftsbury is a great school because I think being able to know all your classmates and teachers is good for a good education. It makes classes feel comfortable and like you can learn freely. Teachers know how to help you when they know you better personally. The teachers at Craftsbury have a fun way of teaching that helps us learn a lot. It feels like a community. It feels like you always have someone to turn to when you need them. Teachers help the students get to know them by telling us personal stories about themselves and letting us tell personal stories about our lives. The teachers make it fun to learn by giving us lots of experiences that help teach about the world. For example, we do an educational field trip every week, and we do a lot of hiking, and they teach us about the environment as we have done rock climbing, ice skating, biking, and practice chess in class sometimes. Craftsbury has been the state champions for chess 2 years in a row. The middle school went on a week-long field trip to Maine last year at Nature's Classroom and learned a lot about the outdoors, including how to make fires, how animal senses function, and many group activities. One of them was called Build a Civilization, where we explored how civilizations survive. We also had an opportunity to dissect a sheep eyeball, which was really fun. I remember my 3rd grade experiences in outdoor education. Craftsbury School has a wood lot, which is a bunch of woods that the public can go and hang out and take walks in. And I think it's really cool that we can do these things because our school is so small. It's a good thing to learn about more than just the basic school material. The school also does one-on-one work with people that might need extra help, which probably can't happen as much in a big school. There's also a lot of after-school activities that are good for our education, including soccer, basketball, baseball, and cross-country skiing. I've participated in theater, Girls on the Run, cross-country running, and track and field. We also get to know the people outside of our class and interact with them when we get put in groups in our whole middle school field trip. I feel safe and comfortable when I know my schoolmates and not just the ones in my grade. So I think Craftsbury is a very good school and we should keep it how it is.
Thank you. Next is Rue, and then on deck is Arena from Colchester High School.
My name is Drew Jacobs. I'm a fourth grader. I learn a lot at school. I learn math and literacy all very well because every teacher in this school has a unique way of teaching and I like that. I think this school is a great place to learn. Craftsbury schools are wonderful because of learning and how many field trips there are like ECO. ECO is at the Woodlot and it is outdoor education. This year in class, we did an 1800s project and we got to see some of the objects that people used then. Craftsbury also hosts Girls on the Run for an after-school program. This is my second year doing it. My coaches include my teachers and volunteers like my dad. It is a mix of running and social emotional learning. At school, K through 5 does a reward system where if we fill our jar with pom-poms for being kind, safe, and responsible, we do a celebration like camping and school day. Every year we go to Art and Bloom at the Highland Center for the Arts. Art and Bloom is an event where there is art displayed from our school and other schools in our supervisory union. We also sing together. And this year we did a taiko drumming for a week with an instructor from Burlington Taiko, and then performed for our town. I love my school.
Thank you very much. Okay, next is Arena from Colchester High School and is Adam from Mount Holly Elementary here?
That was somebody, that's the camera.
Okay, and then that will be it for who is signed up. We have a little bit more time if any of the pages want. It is certainly up to everyone who wants to testify, or if anybody else is here and hadn't signed up in advance is interested, if you could just check in at the table quick, but we would love to hear from you. Otherwise, we'll be wrapping it up shortly. Thank you from Colchester High School.
Hi, my name's Arena. I'm a student at Colchester High School, and I'm a youth organizer with Outright Vermont. I'm going to be sharing my experience about DEI. DEI is deeply personal to me. As a person of color growing up in Vermont, I spent a lot of time in spaces that weren't made for people like me. Places where I've had to shrink myself to feel safe, where my identity was questioned or ignored, and where I didn't always have adults who understood or could support what I was going through. For DEI, I was trying to survive systems that were not built for me. I internalized things that weren't mine to carry, feeling like I had to work twice as hard just to be heard, or that advocating for myself made me difficult. I didn't see myself in the curriculum. I didn't have staff or teachers who reflected me, and I didn't always have a safe place to talk about the microaggressions or harm I was experiencing. Right now, DEI is more important than ever. We're living in a time where identities are being debated, where books about us are being banned, and where the spaces that are supposed to protect and uplift us are being stripped away. That creates real harm. It's telling students that we are too complicated, too political, or too much to care for. DEI pushes back against that. It gives us language to name what we're feeling and tools to build something better. It gives students of color safety to take space, to lead, and imagine futures where we don't have to fight to be seen. I'm not asking for a perfect system. I'm advocating for one that acknowledges that we exist and that we matter. DEI gives me hope, not just for me, but for every student who's ever felt like they didn't belong. Thank you.
Very much for coming. Are there any other students interested in speaking who hadn't planned to or hadn't signed up? We have a little bit of time left. Bueller, no. If you haven't already, if you presented today and share testimony, if you can grab the directions from Annie over here in terms of how to formally submit your testimony, then we can have it in the written record as well. This is all recorded on Zoom, so you can go back and find the YouTube recording of it and share it. I hope you share with folks at your school the incredible advocacy you've done. This has been really wonderful to hear from students all over the state. It's a good challenge to us as legislators to get out all over the state and get into schools more and hear more from students, but really, really, really value your time and voices today.
Yeah, I would just say you all are a credit to your institutions
Yes.
and your communities. You all are better at staying on time than we are as legislators, so that's appreciated. But also brought so much eloquence and heart and really took us into your lives and your schools and your experiences. That's incredibly appreciated. It makes, I don't get to make all the rules, but it makes me hope that in the future, we can hear from students about what's going on for them early in the session so that you help us shape the agenda of what's on your minds and what you need from your schools, not just reacting to major proposals. It's incredibly valuable to hear from all of you. You all shared very bravely as well. None of this is easy. And it just really makes me feel great about our education system and all of our institutions of different shapes and sizes and geographies and what they're offering for you. So we, on behalf of the Senate, I'll say, we deeply appreciate your presence here. If you haven't noticed, you also have some of your legislators who are in the crowd among you. I see Sarita Austin. I saw Wendy Harrison, who represents Windham County. I don't even know everybody anymore in the House. I'm sorry.
There are several.
But they usually have gold name tags. And so if you don't know your legislator, they might be in the room. They might be in the halls today. But please count on us if you want to be heard further. We are hopefully easy for you to find and reach out to. And we very much appreciate you being here. I'll let Peter, you have it. Anybody else?
Go ahead.
Just had, for this group, I had a student from Glover who did submit written testimony that is not going to be read because she couldn't be here, but that will be on the site. So I guess that you guys will all take some time to read that.
Yes, and there are several pieces of written testimony from students who couldn't be here or couldn't be on Zoom. So those will eventually all end up on the House Education Committee site and will be there as a written testimony. So there's quite a few more pieces of student testimony coming.
Please do.
Wonderful.
Right.
Yeah.
Please do take the time to read those because I know students worked on them over their break.
Yeah.
Some English isn't their first language and they did it with the help of teachers. At least there's 6 testimonials from Winooski that fall in that category. Zoe, again, has been a great partner in organizing student voice, whether or not students could be here. It is really tremendous when students lead. It behooves us to follow. So thank you all so much.
Well, we appreciate the opportunity.
Well said. Thank you. Thank you. All right.